It's hard to believe, but as of this past week, I've been on the Icon of the Seas now for 90 days. Time has just flown by. Yesterday, I spent some time thinking about what I wanted to share in this video, and I realized nothing much had happened. We had done some Make-A-Wish meet and greets. You all know what Make-A-Wish Foundation is. They're a foundation that grants wishes for sick children. Many of them wish to take a cruise, and many of those cruises are taken on the Icon. So when they and their families are on the ship and they come to see The Wizard of Oz, we always invite them up on stage afterwards, and we do a little meet and greet and take pictures. So we had a couple of those. We also had some understudies go on. There's been some illness and injury in the cast, but I'm realizing that that's also pretty routine. Then last night, something really out of the ordinary and tragic happened. I wasn't going to talk about it in this video, but it's all over the news, or at least all over the internet news. I've had friends email me links to these stories, so I thought I would tell you a little bit about what happened from the perspective of being on the ship. The tragedy was that the crew member went overboard. About 7:15 or 7:30, there was an emergency announcement made over the intercom from the bridge. Now, these emergency announcements are done in code as not to panic the guests, but because I go to the trainings, I know what these codes mean, and I was very concerned about what was happening. I was in the theater watching the 7 o'clock performance of The Effectors when the announcement was made, and I was seeing the show because, well, we had understudies on, and I wanted to be there and see their performances and support them. Shortly after the announcement was made, the ship started making these jerking motions, which I now know was because they were trying to stop the ship or at least slow it down so that they could start the rescue operation. The show went on, and I stayed to the end. After it was over and I was walking out, about 8 o'clock or so, the captain made an announcement ship-wide saying that there had indeed been a man overboard and the situation had been handled. I do know that it was a crew member, though as far as I know, it's no one I ever met or interacted with. And out of respect for him and his family and loved ones, that's all I'm going to say on this video. But as I said, it did make the news, so if you're curious to know more about what was reported, you can Google it. For me, a significant takeaway from this is that this crew is magnificent. We go through a lot of trainings, a lot of drills, and it is for a reason. Things happen, and the crew on this ship are highly trained, and they jump right into action. They know what to do, and they get the job done. And as a matter of fact, this past week I was walking the deck, and they were either starting or finishing a man overboard drill, and I got to see the crash dummy that they use for the rescue. So in light of elaborating on that news, I don't think there's really anything else worth sharing in this particular video. I did have some questions I was going to answer about, can we get off the ship? Do I get off the ship? But I'll save that for a future video, and I'll see you next week.